I'm Bergen, and I've been working with Sydney, it seems now, for my whole life. I think, how long has it been? 4 years? Going on 5 years I've been working with him. We got a master's together, New York University, and we met there, and the rest is history, so I'll pass it on.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I also went to school with everybody here, actually. Got my master's with Sydney as well, and so been dancing with you for 4 going on 5 years.
I'm Jennifer Jones, and similar me, 4 years. Tisch alum. Woo.
I've been dancing with myself for 28 years. Hi, okay.
I'm Gary Schaufeld. I have a BFA from NYU Tisch, and I've been working with Sydney for a year.
Thank you, dancers. Before I open it up to questions, Sydney, I wanted to know if you could talk to us. Most in the audience probably don't know that you do a lot of work with social media and that you stream almost all of your performances live. So can you talk about your choice to do that, how you got involved with that, and what other media projects you might have?
Absolutely. But before I do that, I really have to take another moment to thank these ferocious dancers for performing with me here. Can we give them another round of applause? Is that okay? Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Thank you for indulging me. I have a background in technology as well as dance performance and choreography. And just within the last year or so, there's been just a host of free technologies that allow the simultaneous streaming of live performance on the internet. The likes of which you can basically take your phone and point it at a stage and share your work with literally thousands of people. Being as a New York-based company, there's only so many venues left, really. So our ability to use my rinky-dink phone to broadcast our performances to now thousands of people. And for example, our last season, we sold out our show, and that was about 275 tickets or so. But now over 1,000 people have been able to view the performance online and for free. And the amount of feedback that we've been able to get from our audiences online has really been incredible. And it uses technologies that are only now just emerging. So it's a very exciting field.
Right. Do you keep that work on your website so that people can view it after the fact?
Oh, absolutely. On our website, skybetter.org, but also on Facebook and on Twitter and every possible social media outlet you can imagine.
Thank you. Any questions out there? Please raise your hand, and I will repeat the questions for everybody to hear. Don't be shy.
This is going really well.
I think that they just, they were captivated. Well, okay.
Wow. Huh.
Okay, just to sum up briefly, if I can, he loved the performance, felt that saw your use of space, use of the abstract, didn't feel like there was a lot of emotion going on in the face, and yet the movements and the piece as a whole brought out a lot of emotion. So if you could just talk about your process and how you work with the dancers and create that.
That was beautiful. I loved your choice of words, conjuring of emotion. I think that's just a really wonderful phrasing. Maybe I'll speak briefly, and then I'd love for the dancers to jump in. At the root of each one of these pieces, each one of these choreographic processes is a very personal exploration where we come into a studio often and literally just talk about feelings, about stories, about narratives, about where we're coming from and our relationships with each other even. And on the basis of that, and on the basis of certain texts or pieces of music that we also bring into the studio, we begin to improvise and work on these variously emotional themes, but often in a formal context, such as one found in the Lieder we were performing to just now, or the Dvorak, the melodic phrasing, for example. Our process is then to start with a very grossly emotional core, the most raw and emotional states that we can bring to the rehearsal state. And then we gradually abstract away from that so that we're not necessarily presenting a theatrical experience per se, yet at the root of it is literally a performance of our own humanity. But within that, I think, is a very richly collaborative process that draws on the immense creative intelligence of each of my dancers. So I wonder if they would like to jump in here and talk a little bit about that. Anytime.
We're talking about the creative process here. Well, I also wanted to just touch on the lack of emotion in the face. That's been a very difficult thing for me. I think I probably, of anybody, get the correction the most to find an active neutral. But I think because of our process, because of the way we start with this immensely emotional core, kind of distill it, physicalize it, that so that the emotion kind of lives in the movement and it's not me performing that emotion. It's a wonderful way to kind of find something new every time, because I'm not trying to tell the same story every time. I'm doing the same movement, and whatever kind of comes to me, if I happen to be in this gorgeous space or if I'm in another kind of smaller venue, my body can react to the space and tell a different story every time. So it leaves, as much as it comes from a very specific emotional place, it leaves itself completely open to however we're feeling that day.
Thank you. Sydney, I was also wondering, can you talk about the personal? And I'm just wondering, did you create that for those solos to be performed, dispersed throughout a program, or are they usually performed all together?
We've done it both ways. When we were coming up with the solos, it was early on in our trajectory as a company, back when we were in school, and each one of those solos is an exploration of that individual. Those solos more so than any of the other work is really an evocation of the performer itself. So in each one of these, the sort of gestural vocabulary literally originates within the solo performer. I think when we were working on them, it was more a sort of like getting to know you. Then like we had any sort of clear notion as to how they must be performed together. We've performed them in series, we've performed them scattered in between other works. I just love them because they are, sorry this is sort of obvious, but they are so personal.
Well, thank you very much, and I'd like to thank Skybetter and Associates again for a beautiful performance this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us this evening.